Hello and welcome to the 6th International Conference of the Black German Heritage and Research Association. My name is Rosemary Pena, and as president of the BGHRA, it is my privilege and pleasure to introduce you to our executive team and program committee, and to commence what promises to be an exciting and memorable 3 days. Last year, we celebrated the 10th anniversary of the BGHRA, and our theme was All Black Lives Matter, Black Germany and Beyond. If you missed our fabulous 2022 conference, the recordings are available for your viewing on our YouTube channel at Black Germans. This year, we are celebrating the establishment of the BGHRA in Africana Studies at Rutgers-Camden. This brings me unspeakable joy, as Rutgers is my 4 times alma mater, and so to have my life's work embraced here at home is indeed a blessing. Inspired by a course that I co-teach with Emily Frazier at Davidson College, our conference theme this year is Art as Resistance, Transcultural Expressions. Our impressive agenda was curated for your inspiration almost exclusively by our newest team member and the BGHRA Executive Director of Arts and Culture, Elizabeth Clark Hester, whom you will get to know very well this weekend. I wish to express my most sincere and deepest gratitude to Elizabeth, as well as to Keith Green, our host in Africana, Sonia Donaldson at Colby College, and Emily Frazier at Davidson College, whose friendship, tireless support, and collaboration in all things BGHRA is invaluable. Borrowing from one of Emily's favorite sayings, I'll soon fade into the background and leave you in the hands of my formidable colleagues, who will serve as discussants and moderators for the duration of the conference. If you haven't already, be sure to watch our featured films and have your questions ready for the filmmakers. The films are available to our registered guests for streaming only until Sunday. We appreciate the gifts of your time and presence, and now I'll pass the proverbial microphone on to Keith and the others of my esteemed committee members who would also like to greet you. Thank you so much for coming. Have an amazing conference. I'll greet you again at our closing. Keith?
Thank you, Rose. Rose is, of course, the heart and soul of this conference and enterprise. It has been one of the true privileges of my time at Rutgers to get to know her and play even a small role in the advancement of this important work. My formal title is Associate Professor of English and Africana Studies here at Rutgers University in Camden. I'm also the former Director of Africana Studies here at RUC. Africana Studies is pleased to provide a home for the rich conversations and collaborations that will take place over the next 3 days. Before we go any further, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the Lenni Lenape, the indigenous people who still occupy the space that we call Southern New Jersey. Africana Studies and the BGHRA at RUC sit on the land connected to their varied history and understand its relationship to communicate the ways that the campus and the surrounding community are implicated in the lives of Native peoples. We stand in solidarity with all efforts to maintain the sovereignty and dignity of Indigenous peoples. We hope that the work done at this conference will ultimately advance that important agenda. Towards that end, one of the main objectives of the continued partnership between the BGHRA and Africana Studies is to celebrate the rich diversity of people of African descent from all parts of the globe. Too often, Black Studies has been imagined as a US-centric enterprise, when it has been articulated with an international or even transnational framework. The Caribbean, South America, and of course the African continent have featured prominently, but Europe and other parts of the globe have often been neglected. We hope that this year's conference will continue to contribute to the considerable work that has already been done and will encourage further work that addresses this deficit. So many people have contributed to this conference, many of whom will not appear on your screens over the next 3 days. I want to say a few words and say a few of their names. First, I want to acknowledge the current Director of Africana Studies, Augustine Isama, for his generous and continued support of this conference. Next, Julie Ronsinski and Kate Blair of the Office of Web Design have been steadfast supporters of the BGHRA and Africana Studies partnership. From the events and IT offices, Brianna Fleming and David Tran, among others, have provided much needed support with planning and technology, without which this event would not be possible. We have several Rutgers-Camden sponsors, among them the Departments of English, Global Studies, History, Latin American Studies, Visual Media and Performing Arts, World Languages, and the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. But a special word of thanks goes to the Rutgers Institute for the Study of Global Racial Justice, also known as ISGRJ, and their administrative support, Mahiram Arroyo, as well as co-director Patrick Rosal. A special word of thanks also goes to the DAFA Film Library at UMass Amherst. We appreciate all of your generous support. Without you, this conference really would not be possible in the shape that it is currently in. Finally, I want to thank all of you for being here, if only virtually. Though we wish that we could be together physically, we are grateful for this opportunity to learn and grow with you over the next 3 days. Please enjoy what I'm sure will be generative and field-shaping conversations. I hope to see you all at the first keynote, which will be starting shortly. Thank you.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. My name is Emily Frazier, and I am the Executive Director of Education Initiatives for the BGHRA. I'm also a visiting assistant professor of German Studies at Davidson College, which is located just north of Charlotte, North Carolina in the US. I wanted to welcome all of you this morning and to this wonderful 3 days of conferencing, but an especially warm welcome to all of the undergraduate and graduate students who are here. I know for many of my undergrads, mine and Rose's undergrad students, this is your first academic conference, and I just want to welcome you, and I hope that you will join in the conversation as we go further. I'd like to also just take this moment to thank my colleagues at Davidson College in the German Studies Department, Doctors Scott Denham, Maggie McCarthy, and Burkhard Henke for their continued support, both financially and morally, for all of what we do at the BGHRA. As well as the Davidson Arts Across the Curriculums grant and Sherry Nelson, and my faculty colleagues in Africana Studies, Gender and Sexuality Studies, Sociology, and beyond for making it possible to invite all of the guests that we have brought to our classrooms over the last 2 years at Davidson. Please be on the lookout for more conversations between our students and our distinguished guests after the conference is over and later this semester. There's more to come. So with that, I will turn things over to Dr. Sonia Donaldson.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sonia Donaldson, and I am the Executive Director of Media and Archives for the BGHRA. And I am thrilled to be part of this conference, thrilled to be part of this conversation. And I'm so happy that we are going to be witnessing a celebration of art in the diaspora. It's truly my honor to be with you in this. BGHRA, as we know, has opened up not just a space for expression of art and literature and music and culture throughout the diaspora, but it's also created a space of community virtually. And so often when we think of community, we think of a physical space or site only, and certainly that is important. But I think for so many years, BGHRA has held together many of us in the diaspora through this creation of a virtual communal space and something that we might also call home, right? And so, like you, I'm really looking forward to the collaboration, the expression, the art, and the beauty of what diaspora looks like. The other part of this that I want to emphasize as Director of Media and Archives is the importance of documenting our work, of documenting our presence, that we were here, that we created art, music, literature, we laugh, we dance, and we document it and provide evidence for future generations so that, they know that they do not have to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. They do not have to recreate, right? That they know that they are part of a long chain and part of a long and varied tradition of people who lived and created and loved. And I hope that this conference is a reminder of that for all of us. So I look forward to seeing you all. Thank you.
Yeah, hello. I'm Elizabeth Clark Hesters. I'm fairly new to the BGHRA, and I'm coming in as the Executive Director for Arts and Culture. Now, why we need arts and culture as a living and integral part of the BGHRA is because the study, Africana studies, especially diaspora studies, we want to take it farther than theory. And we want to also show what the strength of diaspora peoples are. And what happens when we use art is art does not touch the intellect. Art touches the inside, the spirit, the soul, if you will. And showing that, showcasing that, giving a place to that complements the study of more academic nature by showing that this is all about life, about resilience, and this is something that we have really determined is important to pass on. So I have been an artist all my life, a dancer and an actress, and so I'm really, really happy, proud to give some of what I've known and experienced in these years to the efforts of the BGHRA to really give life, joy, resilience, and resistance for the next generations. And I would like to invite all of you who are here as participants, or everybody's participating in one way or another. And I'd like to invite all of you to our first keynote. This is going, we have a moment between this and the first keynote. And we will be hearing from a very, very special and lovely person. Of course, I'm going to say that because she's also, among all the other wonderful things she does, she is also my daughter, and she will be talking with us about her observations in spaces of theater and also her experiences. And I'm really looking forward to that. So we'll see each other very soon.
Thank you again, everyone. We'll see you in a few moments.